talk about Alzheimer's, there's a lot of folks out there listening, and a lot of them are saying, what would you ladies say that's in it? You've had personal stories. You got good stories. You work in it. You see it every day. What would you say to the folks out there that are thinking, well, I think it's a terrible illness. This is a good program, but what's the odds of me getting it? What would you say to those folks out there? Listen, I hope not to get it either, just like you don't. But it's like anything else. That 50 cents will get us a cup of coffee, half a cup decaffeinated. So what would you say to the folks out there with that frame of mind that I probably won't get it?
Well, here's what I would say is that the numbers tell us differently. That, we're looking at right now over 6 million individuals, nearly 7 million individuals that are diagnosed and living with the disease. And that is really, we're just talking Alzheimer's. We're not talking about other forms of dementia, which we also support and serve and guide people through as well from that standpoint. And so the idea that maybe it's not going to touch your family is really something that I would encourage people to think about. The prevalence, as we have more people that are aging in, we've got baby boomers that are aging in, we have more people that are going to be diagnosed. And so this is not something that we just say, but the national, the federal government has said this is a growing crisis that we have on our hands as people are aging in and more people are going to be diagnosed, that if we do not address could, bankrupt the federal government because of the costs of care from that standpoint. So there's very serious implications, not just on a familial level, but on a national level as well from that standpoint. So I think there's always times when we talk about disease states where people might put their head in the sand. So they know that someone in their family has it, but they don't want to really think about it. That's too hard and difficult for them to think about. But putting our heads in the sand, because my grandmother had it, that means that I have to be looking out for signs in my own father. That means that I need to be taking care of my own brain health now from that capacity. So it's really important that we are thinking through that and trying to mitigate the risk. And also, if there is a possible diagnosis, you are seeing signs, there's also hope that earlier diagnosis, if you see signs and talking to your doctor early about that, may mean that you have more time with your loved one because there's more time to get on a right treatment, to have time to plan together for what the future looks like.
In organizations like what you're a part of, the Alzheimer Association, and being a part of the walk, you get to meet people like you and Meredith and probably learn things that would make you more aware of maybe some of those beginning signs, right? Instead of just having our head buried in the sand thinking that, well, I'll just address it when it comes. Whereas we could sit back and be an alert and be a supporter of it, the Alzheimer's Association and the walk, and just be more familiar about what we can look for and expect.
So here's what I would tell you. Meredith mentioned it, and this is a perfect way to say it, which is it really kind of just does two things. Walk to End Alzheimer's is the fuel that keeps our mission going, and it is the way in which we can do all the things that she mentioned. Our in-community educational programming that we do. So in any time within the Unifour area, we may be doing in-community programs like understanding Alzheimer's and dementia, or the 10 warning signs, or something that is more psychosocial in nature where we're talking about legal and financial planning of the disease, or dementia conversations like when to take away the keys, or how we approach behavioral changes in our loved one in the middle stages and the end stages of the disease. These are all things that we do through the funding that we get through Walk to End Alzheimer's, and it's the reason that her volunteer committee is so passionate about what they do because they've seen it firsthand.
Right.
And those programs are free. So when Christine or another partner, somebody comes and does a program, that's free for everybody. And it's, again, funded through things like walk and fundraisers and things like that.
So, if anybody wanted to have a program or set up some kind of a meeting or anything like that, it's folks like Christine and maybe yourself, Meredith, I guess, that would probably partner up and go there and educate folks.
And we have education partners as well.
You really do.
Mm-hmm,
so
absolutely.
The education's out there. The support's out there. We have things of that nature that's people are not alone. It's not something they just feel like, I'm like Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway. I'm out there all alone. There's some people, there's a group of people, there's an organization out there with that's firsthand have had experiences. That's what led you probably to want to join this Alzheimer's Association to fight for the cure, because that's what it's all about, right?
Absolutely.
Finding a cure and taking care of people that our past loved ones weren't able to see, but hopefully there's a future out there that will. So that's an outstanding.